Hello and welcome back everyone to another episode of Let's Chill with EarthBound, where, as ever, our only goal is to take a little bit of time for ourselves to relax, unwind, maybe go to sleep. Now, last time, we went through the mysterious pyramid in Scaraba in search of the Hawkeye, which, if the hieroglyphs from the Summers Museum are to be believed, the Hawkeye is an item necessary to pass through the deep darkness, and upon venturing through the pyramid, getting the Hawkeye, and leaving, which was a bit of an endurance test all on its own, we encountered the sage old man that we first met with Prince Boo during his training, and he basically required the prince to come with him for a short time in order to learn a technique known as the Star Storm. So Pooh is currently absent, but we will meet up with him again someday soon, we hope. In the meantime, we've come across a strange statue. It appears to be called Dungeon Man. I hope you've made yourself as comfortable as you can. The Dungeon Man is locked. We did acquire a key. The door is open. We may enter. So in we go. And right away, across a sign that says, "Welcome, you are inside of my body." Signed Brick Road. Brick Road, eh? Yes, indeed, Brick Road is the person that we mentioned that Jeff met in Winters, who built that small dungeon then. And it seems that his dreams of becoming the first fusion of man and dungeon have come true. Another sign says, "My statistics show that about 70% of people go to the right first." Well, we won't be doing that because over here, see a nice rest area, and we will take advantage of that. Particularly, it would have been very convenient if Jeff were at 45 IQ, so he could fix the bazooka, but no worries. We'll get there soon enough. And yes, as I mentioned at the end of the last episode, the music here is very busy, very unique. Keep this board in mind, everyone. It's very unique music and not the most chill, so that's why I held off on coming in here at the end of the last episode. Even though you can't get up there now, you might be able to later. He makes a good point. You'll also see these present type enemies who, believe it or not, are actually all of the same enemies from the Four-Side department store that Ness and Jeff didn't really encounter too much. We'll be seeing a lot of them here. So you will get to see what we missed before. As we encounter the mystical record in the scalding coffee cup. They are much less dangerous than they were back in Fourside. However, you can see that one of the attacks of the coffee cup is to do basically a fire attack against the entire party, and it does a fair amount of damage. So you can see with the party, if they had about half the amount of hit points they have now, those attacks would be pretty dangerous. But here they will be just more of just a small obstacle while we're here. The sign says your first goal is to reach the 4 ropes. Well, that's good to know. It's been a little while, so I don't exactly remember my way through this place. But it's also less of a maze than it might appear to be. Once a dungeon is built, monsters always start moving in. Suppose that only makes sense. Monster has to live somewhere. Items that are easy to get are usually disappointing. As we find $5. It's true, while the party doesn't currently need $5, while the party currently doesn't need a $5 payout so much anymore. It does make you wonder, at some point, there must be a determination of at what point does a single penny make a person rich? There has to be a point somewhere, doesn't there? Is that cup of coffee was kind enough to drop us a cup of coffee. We open another present and find a snake. So we will continue exploring this way, and it looks like there are the 4 ropes that were mentioned. Don't be a slacker, the sign says. If you work hard, you'll get good stuff. And the sign says I couldn't agree more with the opinion on the left billboard. Yes, indeed. So we acquire a super plush bear, which is basically an improved form of the teddy bear that we encountered so long ago. I believe it can withstand roughly 300 hit points of damage. Looking at this sign, it says, I built a bulletin board without a message. Did he though? The sign says the grass is always greener on the other rope. I wonder why that is. I believe they all say the same thing. Now, we could go and explore all 4 of these ropes, but 3 of them are dead ends. And if I recall correctly, number 3 is the correct one anyway, so just for the sake of keeping things flowing nice and easy, we will just take the right path and continue on. Sign says this is the second floor of my body. Good to know. What's a dungeon? That is my eternal question. I suppose we all have questions like that for ourselves. Inside the dungeon, flash photography is prohibited. Good to know. See, there are many signs. You're standing right around my belly button. Very well. There is an item at the dead end, but I have been known to be wrong occasionally. Sorry. That's alright, we all make mistakes. This music is one of my greatest accomplishments. Well, Brick Road, it is certainly an accomplishment. Smells like flowers here. If you can't smell it, your nose must be stuffy. Opening this present, there's pizza inside. We haven't ordered any pizzas throughout the game. They are pretty effective healing items. Especially if you choose to order the large pizza items, which, if used, I think they heal about 200 hit points for everybody in the party. So they can be very handy. Dungeon exploration is tough, but it's also fun. He makes a good point. What is it about dungeons that makes them usually an experience to look forward to? There are lots of monsters up there, but don't stress out. Solid advice. That is certainly not what we're here to do. Mad duck. They can be a nice pet if they stay far away. This is the third floor of my body. Very well. We see some gruff goats. They are a really gruff kind of goat. And a couple of holes in the floor there. Slimy little piles. They have a bad habit of burping. Yes, indeed. Coming across another present. Find a wet towel. You can see many of the items are not particularly necessary to get, but it's still fun to open them. Moving right along. It says, good job, you finally made it. There's a board upstairs that says that. Well, we'll just see. And there is indeed a sign. It says, good job, you finally made it. That face is mine. The sign says, feel free to talk to it. Yes, I suppose we should. Brick Road says, welcome. Long time no see. Mr. Jeff, we met in Winters a long time ago. In Brick Road. Dr. Andonuts finally made me a dungeon man. If you want, I'll come with you guys for a while. Well, sure. We will certainly jump in the return hole, but first, this is the goodbye exit over here. It says, someday you should enter with courage. Apparently that day is not today. As we start jumping down, coming across an IQ capsule. And just making sure, yes indeed. We'll use the IQ capsule on Jeff. Now he will be able to repair the bazooka. You can see things got a little rough during that fight. Just a couple of spilled coffees is sometimes all it takes. But since we're here, we're right near a hospital. We will take advantage of it. And finally, we will take a few rests here at the goodnight bench and wait for Jeff to repair the bazooka. And in doing so, the broken bazooka becomes the heavy bazooka. And we will give that to him just to get it in a bit more of an accessible place, since we will be using it a lot. Suppose that'll have to do for now. We're going to withdraw just a little bit of money to buy a couple of multi-ball rockets for Jeff. As we exit Dungeon Man, we get his kind of groovy music as he follows us. And we actually have a new encounter with a beautiful UFO. But a lone enemy at this point probably won't stand much of a chance against this party. Here is the merchant we were looking for. I forgot there was an enemy there. But this is a good time to demonstrate a new heavy bazooka. Deals about 200 damage to that enemy. The dungeon man takes a swing. You can see he does a hefty amount of damage. Swinging like some kind of boss from Dark Souls. But yes, we are exploring with Rick Road, the Dungeon Man. Continuing further south. Uh-oh. It seems Dungeon Man is getting caught on the palm trees and cannot move. As well, if I cannot move, it's okay. Yes, it makes me sad, but I must say goodbye here. In my eternal resting place. Well, that's kind of tragic, really. But he says it's okay. And that is a strong attitude to have. I don't know if I could be immediately accepting of getting stuck in palm trees forever myself, but I suppose being in that kind of situation, it might be the only choice you have anyway, so why not simply accept it? If only to just confirm that that is in fact the reality. Talk to this person who says a scary place called Deep Darkness is on the other side of the river. The monster is very strong and you can lose your health just by wandering in the swamp. You want to cross the river, even though you know it's a stupid idea? Well, we must. The swamp is bottomless. Even if you're swimming, you'll be dragged in. It's a different story if you have a submarine. Well, a submarine. So now we're on the hunt for a submarine, but since we have nowhere else to go, actually I think we could make our way around the sides of Dungeon Man, but we'll ask him anyway, since there may have been one inside of him in his old vehicle collection. So we go back into Dungeon Man. And this time, since we will basically be retracing our steps from before, we may go ahead and cut out most of this trip. Now at the top again, we'll talk to Brick Road one more time. Says there's an old submarine at the back of the dungeon. It can be used to cross the river. There's a goodbye exit over there. It'll take you to the submarine. Need to take the goodbye exit. Says, hope to see you again. Maybe we will someday. As the sign of the goodbye exit is now moved out of the way, we will hop down a couple of times, 3 times, and opening the present we saw so long ago. There is a talisman ribbon inside. It's good that Paula takes it because she is the only one who can wear it, I believe. And it is a pretty good item, if I remember correctly. Can only be used by Paula when equipped luck is increased. I'm not sure what luck does in this game, but having more of it won't hurt. Never does. Sign says I set up a telephone line in the dungeon. Wonder if that's controversial. Apparently the old vehicle collection is Brick Road's secret hobby. We see a taxi with no engine. Beautiful, even though the thing doesn't run. A rusty bicycle. Rust is the perfect brake. It is certainly a brake. This is a gift from Dr. and Donuts. Be careful how you use it. It is the instant revitalization device. We're healthy, so we don't need it. And at last, see a broken down old submarine. The yellow color is purely coincidental. I don't believe the yellow color is purely coincidental. Jeff checks the broken submarine, says it can still work. So they all carry out the submarine somehow that Jeff fixes. And here we all are, aboard the yellow submarine. Making a somewhat short trip south. Although since there's a screen transition, I suppose we won't know how long this trip took. But regardless, here we have finally arrived at the deep darkness. And in doing so, we will talk to the bird phone bird. To call Dad. Have him record the game because I think we're at a good stopping point. Having gone through Dungeon Man, now we have the deep darkness ahead of us. So, I hope you found this episode to be relaxing. I hope you're a little more chill than you were when we first started. As always, thank you for joining us on the adventure as the depths of the story continue in more than one sense of the word. I will see you again every Monday and Thursday evening with another opportunity to unwind, relax, maybe go to sleep. Until then, take care. I'll see you soon. And remember remember to breathe in all the way up from your heels. We'll see you next time.